The big secret revealed through the gaze? Jimin can't hold back his emotions in front of Jungkook. In the midst of a tight military schedule and a busy schedule that consumes energy, a brief moment between Jimin and Jungkook from BTS managed to make the K-pop world tremble again. This time it wasn't because of a stage performance or a new song, but because of a look that secretly revealed a big secret and made Jimin unable to hold back his emotions. The ARMY, who had been following his second journey from trainee to global megastar, suddenly excited. Sources from the military said that Jimin and Jungkook accidentally met during a joint training exercise at a special training ground. The two have not interacted directly for a long time because they are placed in different units. When they met, the two stared at each other for a long time in front of many fellow soldiers. One of the eyewitnesses said. Their gaze is like holding back so many things. No excessive smiles, no harsh courtesies. But from the way they looked at each other, we knew there is something unusual. And sure enough, after that look, Jimin looked down and hurriedly rubbed his eyes. Some people think it's just dust or fatigue. But as he walked away, one of his close associates whispered, "Jimin is crying." The gaze is not just any gaze. Some observant ARMY even linked this moment to a previous event, when Jimin fell ill and Jungkook refused to leave his side in the military treatment room. From that moment on, the relationship between the two had time to stretch, not because of quarrels, but because of emotions that had not yet had time to talk about. Many suspect that the gaze brings back all the memories, guilt, fear of loss, even the inability to be honest with each other amid the military pressure that limits their interactions. Jungkook stared as if to say, "You're not alone." And Jimin, who had been trying so hard, finally collapsed behind his smile, said a fan who re-edited the video of the moment and made it viral. Rumors began to circulate that Jimin harbored a great sense of guilt towards Jungkook. Some said that when he was sick, Jimin had wanted to resign from all activities so as not to bother anyone, including his closest friend, Jungkook. But that's exactly what makes Jungkook even more hurt. That look might have been Jimin's silent confession that he was actually very sorry, very appreciative, and very much in love with their friendship. But all this time, he didn't have the courage to say it directly. Then, through that gaze, everything is conveyed. Jungkook is known to be emotionally stronger in public. But those who know him know, he is someone who feels everything deeper than he shows. In that moment, Jungkook remained calm, not showing any excessive expression changes. However, some colleagues said that after the meeting, Jungkook looked pensive for quite some time in his barracks. He looked up at the night sky and wrote something in the little notebook he always carried with him. It is not yet clear what he wrote, but they are sure it was a form of emotional outlet. After meeting Jimin, it didn't take long for the ARMY to realize this. Video footage from practice events, screenshots, to fan art are popping up on various platforms. They refer to this moment as the gaze that heals, the gaze that opens wounds. On Twitter, hashtags like #JungkookLook, #Tatapantampakata, and #JiminCryAgain are trending. Fans express their support in their own way. Some created songs, poems, and short stories inspired by this event. A fan wrote, "We often underestimate the power of a pair of eyes. But sometimes, the eyes are the only way out when the heart is too full to talk." After these events, great hopes arose that Jimin and Jungkook would have a chance to really sit down together and have a heart-to-heart talk. Many hope that once their military service is over, they will share the story with the public, perhaps through an interview, documentary, or even an emotional collaboration song. Big Hit has yet to give an official statement. But multiple internal sources said management was aware of the depth of their relationship and would maintain their privacy as much as possible. A few days after that attention-grabbing emotional incident, the mood of the ARMY around the world was still carried away by deep feelings. Many of them said that this was not just an ordinary meeting, but the most honest moment ever seen from two figures who have been known to be full of professionalism in front of the public. The short meeting turned out to have a long impact that cannot be ignored. both for Jimin, Jungkook, and the future of BTS. Sources from the military said that from that moment on, Jimin began spending his nights writing in a small journal. He didn't speak much to anyone, but his closest associates saw some sentences that described Jimin's heart indirectly. "I don't know how to speak, but that look told me he knew. And I was devastated because he stayed there. I wish I could turn back time, but perhaps a new courage will come after everything is over." ARMY, who heard this news through the media fanbase, immediately responded by creating inspirational works themed healing and reconciliation. Even some fans in South Korea sent empty diaries decorated with the theme Jungkook to the military camp as a form of emotional support for Jimin, while Jungkook was known to be very active in his daily life during military training. After meeting Jimin, he became calmer and often looked pensive. One of the instructors said, "He's still doing a good job, but there are moments where he seems to be holding something back." His gaze was blank, then he would take a deep breath and go back to work. His barracks colleagues claimed to hear Jungkook muttering at night, as if repeating words he never had time to say directly. One of them remembered the words, "I'm not angry. I just want you to know I'm here for you. Why did you get rid of me, Minnie?" This added to ARMY's belief that their emotional relationship touched a very deep point and had not yet been completely cured. The former BTS manager who used to accompany them during their global tours gave a surprising statement in an unofficial interview with Korean media friends. He said that since a long time ago, Jimin and Jungkook are the two members who are the most sincere in showing their feelings. The two of them can laugh together, argue, even avoid each other when they are hurt. But one thing has not changed: they never pretended. If they smile, it's honest. If they stay away, it's because they have too much to say but don't know how. This comment made fans even more aware that the moment of gaze was not just symbolic, but an emotional turning point in their relationship that had been complex but affectionate, behind the atmosphere of emotion that has not subsided. Other news began to emerge. One of Big Hit's music producers shared a story that featured two empty studio seats with a mysterious caption, "Sometimes, distance creates a deeper harmony." Fans immediately speculated that the chair belonged to Jimin and Jungkook, the issue that the two secretly began to design songs both when military service broke out. Some fan sites believe that the moment of meeting and the emotional look could have been the inspiration for the lyrics of a new song that has never been released. If true, this could be the most emotional song they've ever created, a song about wounds, distance, and love that lasts unspoken. In various fan communities, the ARMYs agreed on one important point: they would not ask for any clarification. There will be no hashtags of explanatory demands or excessive speculation. They chose to honor the process that Jimin and Jungkook were going through. One popular comment stated, "Let them heal themselves in their own way. If we really love them, we can just keep quiet and still love from afar." ARMY's maturity has even earned praise from some Korean media, who have called BTS's fandom the most supportive and empathetic fan community today. The moment where Jimin couldn't hold back his tears in front of Jungkook has been noted as one of the most honest, most heartwarming moments in BTS's journey. No fancy stage, no lighting effects or cameras. Only two friends looked at each other, and the whole world stopped for a moment to feel what they were feeling. Perhaps that is the essence of a real relationship, the courage to be honest, even if only through the eyes. Jungkook remained standing as a silent protector, and Jimin opened his old wounds bravely. One thing is for sure: their relationship and the love of the ARMY will live on, beyond just the moment and the stage. Not a farewell, not a quarrel, not even a hug, but just a look. But from that one look, the world saw two hearts that had been wounded, trying to heal each other. Jimin's inability to contain his emotions in Jungkook's presence is not a weakness, but a strength that shows that he cares, that he has not given up on the bond.